everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm doing a video on stretching relaxers, which is something that I've been doing for the past few years. First of all, what is stretching your relaxer? Stretching your relaxer is when you go longer periods of time between relaxing your hair. Why and what are the benefits of stretching your relaxer? Lots of people like to do it primarily to gain more length, to gain more thickness, and to avoid over-processing their hair. Let's see, some of the cons to stretching your relaxer can be the manageability. You are going to have quite a bit of new growth, so it's going to be a little more difficult to manage than it would be if you were going every 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to be thicker. You're not going to be able to wear it down as more probably. Some people still choose to. Your style options, some people see them as being more limited. And then you are going to have patience. So those are some things to think about to determine whether or not stretching is right for you. And if you do decide to stretch, what I recommend is that you stretch, start by going maybe 2 weeks longer or 3 weeks longer than you normally would, and then increasing it after that. That way you have time to learn how to better manage your hair. You have time to learn how to be more creative with your hair. And then also you need to be mindful that you're going to have that line of demarcation, which is where the new growth and the relaxed hair meets. So right at that line, it's very fragile, and you have to be very careful how you care for your hair. Because if you're too rough, if you're not using the right methods and the right products on your hair, you can really defeat the purpose of stretching, and you can cause breakage yourself just by the way you're handling your hair. So be sure to purchase a wide tooth comb. You can get this from Sally's for detangling and for management of your hair. I like to detangle first with my hands and then move on to using the comb. That's a whole other tutorial that may sound crazy to some. It sounded crazy to me when I first heard about it, but it is possible and it is effective. Also remember that when you're combing through your hair, that you want to begin at the ends of your hair and then move up. You never want to start at the scalp and then comb straight through to the end, because you can rip your hair out that way. And you want to be sure that you have a solid routine for detangling. You want to use an agent for detangling. Some people like to detangle their hair dry, and if that works for you, that's fine. I haven't found that that works for me. I choose to just use something like this VO5 Moisture Milks conditioner. What I do is I pour a little bit of that in a spray bottle, and then I fill it up the rest of the way with water. Shake it up. I section my hair into about maybe 8 sections, and I use clips like this to hold it in place. You don't have to use these, but you can find whatever works for your hair. And then you just make sure that you have a segment of time to invest in detangling your hair, because if you don't, you'll get frustrated and you could end up causing breakage by rushing through your hair. So let's see, also you want to use a sulfate-free shampoo on your hair. Harsh sulfates are basically detergents. You want to look out for the ingredient sodium lauryl sulfate. And there are a list of other harsh sulfates that you don't want to have in your shampoos. This is the one that I have found that really works well for me. It is by Ultra Sheen, and it is Moisture Blend sulfate-free hydrating shampoo. So that's what works for me. Sally's has tons of sulfate-free shampoos to choose from. So yeah, find a good sulfate-free shampoo. You don't want to use a shampoo that has sulfates in them, because It will dry and strip your hair because it has that harsh detergent in it. It deep cleans, but it will take away the natural oils and cause your hair to be more susceptible to damage and to breaking. And yes, to breaking. Also, be sure to deep condition regularly. Find a really, really good deep conditioner. For moisture, this helps you to retain moisture. You also want to be sure that you're giving yourself protein treatments for strength. You want to have a balance between the moisture and the protein. You don't want to have your hair with so much moisture that it's limp and weak. And you don't want to have so much protein, because protein is a strengthener. You don't want to have so much protein that is so strong and so hard that it will break. So I recommend doing protein treatments monthly, at least once a month. And you can do moisture treatments weekly or bi-weekly or whatever your hair needs. The same thing doesn't work for every person. Also, co-washing, that's a method where you wash your hair but you use conditioner only. And again, my trusty product here, VO5 Moisture Milks. This is a good selection for co-washing. You can also use Suave or Garnier Fructis or Tresemme. Find out what you like and what's good for your hair. You don't want to use an expensive conditioner to co-wash with, because then you'll be using more of it, and it can become costly. Also, you want to moisturize and seal the ends of your hair. Reason being is because the ends of your hair are the oldest part of your hair. A lot of times the ends of your hair can take a real beating from flat irons, from blow dryers, from catching on your clothes, from the weather, the elements outside. That can all have an effect on your hair. So be sure to moisturize with a water-based moisturizer. You can actually use something like shea butter leave-in conditioner. That is what I choose to use for moisture. And then after adding the moisture to my ends, I seal that moisture in with grapeseed oil, or you can actually use olive oil. And I did a short video on that, but I can do a video where I go into more detail about moisturizing and sealing. Also, be sure to trim your ends. You don't have to be scissor happy. You don't have to give yourself a haircut. But if you see that you have split ends, you want to get rid of those, because it can split all the way up your hair shaft and cause thin, weak, unhealthy hair. Also, you want to wear protective styles. You want to wear updos. You want to wear styles that are going to prevent you from putting heat in your hair, straightening your hair, blow drying your hair, because when you have a lot of new growth, it's not going to be convenient to wear it down, and it's not really recommended to, if you're stretching, to be wearing your hair down all of the time. I mean, sure, you could wear flexi rod sets and things like that, but as far as straightening it and wearing it that way, it's not going to be a good choice for you. Be sure to tie your hair up at night when you're sleeping. You want to make sure that your hair is protected, unless you have a satin pillowcase, because when you're tossing and turning in your sleep, your hair can shed actually from that. Also, some people like to take supplements. I personally like to take biotin for hair. I've seen great results with that. My hair grows in shinier, thicker, and more healthy. I also have started taking MSM, but it has not been long enough yet for me to determine whether or not it's been effective. And I can let you know that in another tutorial. Also, you want to be sure of stretching too long. I did that once, and I ended up, especially if you relax your own hair, and you cannot see in the back of your hair. I did it one time, and I actually did not relax some of my new growth because I couldn't see back there. So that is something that you also want to think about. You want to make sure that you have help if you're going to do it by yourself. So see what's right for you. I normally go 16 weeks. That's what works for me, but that may not be for everybody. So anyway, that's all I have to share. I hope that it was helpful, and I wish you all the best on your hair journey, on your stretching your relaxer. Be sure to rate, to comment, to subscribe, and to share. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.